I feature a lot of Citizen watches here on my channel. I feel like I'm a little bit of an authority on Citizen watches now because I have featured so many here. And recently there's been a lot of integrated bracelet watches coming from Citizen. However, today I have a Citizen to show you. It's a Brycen, and this kind of holds a little bit of a special place in my heart because the first Citizen that I ever featured here on my channel was a Brycen. It was a very affordable watch that I bought at one of those big box department stores. It had a blue dial, it was textured, it was eco drive. I just thought it was really cool. I ended up buying it, and I actually really liked it. I kept that watch for a very long time until I lost it, which is very rare. However, this is a very different watch from that original Brycen that I owned. This one is in super titanium. It's getting a sapphire crystal. It's basically getting all of the upgrades that Citizen have given all of the watches in their lineups and all of the new watches that they keep on coming out with. And of course, the Brycen isn't being left out. So without further ado, let's take a look at a Brycen in super titanium. So like I was saying in the intro, the first Citizen that I ever featured here on my channel was a Citizen Brycen that looked somewhat similar to this watch. There were a lot of differences, or are a lot of differences, between that watch and this watch. It's not a direct lineage. However, this looks somewhat similar to that original watch. There are a lot of Brycens out there, a lot of different styles. This is probably one of my favorites. This is in super titanium, so this super titanium version is basically a dive style watch. It's getting 100 meters of water resistance. They're going for a very good everyday watch here. It's in super titanium, so that means this is a grade 2 titanium with an extra hard coating, giving you extra scratch resistance, which is of course very welcome with a titanium watch. You're getting a titanium bezel, case, crown, case back, bracelet. Even the clasp on this watch is in grade 2 titanium, and you are getting that extra hard coating. You're getting a sapphire crystal on this watch. So that's one of the first differences, besides the titanium, that you're seeing from the original watch that I featured here. That had a mineral crystal. This gets a sapphire crystal. That had a fixed bezel that was in a black color. I think it had an ion plating. This gets a titanium bezel that is bi-directional. So this is a friction fitted bi-directional bezel. Actually feels really good. And of course, that means it always lines up because it is friction fitted. There is no clicks, and it will always be exactly where you left it. So you could use this for timing things. You're getting 100 meters of water resistance, so you can get this wet. You can go swimming with it. You could do a light snorkeling with it as well. You do have a push-pull titanium crown, which is unsigned, and you do have a screwed-in case back. You're getting a black dial here with Citizen up at the 12 o'clock eco drive, titanium down by the 6 o'clock applied indices. Those are slightly sunken into the dial, which is glossy and has a sunburst effect. You have the date at the 3 o'clock. It takes the place or partial place of that 3 o'clock index. There's a little bit of a surround around it. You have sword hands. Those are segmented sword hands, and they are quite large. They're black towards the center. And then you have a second hand that is in blue. The counterbalance is in white, and the rest of the second hand is in blue. It's like a baby blue against the black background. It's sort of a monotone look here. You get this charcoal black dial. It's not an inky black. It's not a deep black. So it looks really good with the titanium color. You get that titanium bezel. So you're getting a monochrome, sort of monochromatic look here. However, you do get that little bit of color on the second hand, which you really don't see until you actually get up close with the watch. It does hack. You're getting a eco drive movement in here. That means it's powered by light, any light, even the lights in my studio here. When you go out, obviously sunlight, and that means you get a very reliable power source. The watch will always be working when you pick it up, unless you leave it in a drawer for a very long time. The watch will always be working. If you leave it in a room with light on, it will charge. This gets the caliber J810. It's a caliber that they use in a lot of their watches. Like I was saying before, you do get a sapphire crystal. That sapphire crystal is basically in line with that bezel, so it's not raised off the bezel at all. This is a pretty thin watch because of that. 100 meters of water resistance with that screwed in case back. You're getting a thickness of around 11.1 millimeters is what I measured. You have about a 48 almost a 49 millimeter lug to lug, and then it goes up because you have male end length, so it's around 52 millimeters, 53 millimeters, somewhere in that neighborhood. However, it doesn't wear very large, especially on someone's wrist like mine, 7.5-inch wrist. It doesn't wear large at all. You have quick release on the bracelet, which is pretty uncommon for major brands, and I like to see that. This is a 41 millimeter watch, so if you measure it at the bezel, it's 41 millimeters. At the case, I've measured it around 41.2 millimeters, 41.3, so it's in line with the size that they claim that it is on their website. You do have these crown guards right here, so it's a little bit bigger. Maybe it looks visually a little bit bigger, but I think it wears like a 41.5 millimeter watch. On my wrist today, I have another super titanium watch. This is my ProMaster Automatic. It has a very similar bracelet, except this one has a little bit of polish in it, basically where the links meet on the inner portion of the links, even though these are solid links just on the inside. So there is no polish on the Brycen. It looks like a really good everyday watch. This is also a very good everyday watch. It's one of my favorite dive watches in my collection, and it just looks great. And like I said, it's in super titanium and it's held up really well over the past few years. And there it is on my 7.5-inch wrist. This is a 41 millimeter watch. It's slightly larger than that at the case, but not by a lot. It is a thin watch at 11 millimeters thick. And you can see that looks really thin on my wrist, especially for a dive style watch with 100 meters of water resistance. Pretty cool that it is that thin. I really like that, and it's partially because they didn't put a raised sapphire crystal either on here, which would give it a more vintage look. I think it looks a little bit more modern with a flat sapphire crystal that actually meets that bezel. Lux band on this is, like I was saying before, around 48 millimeters, and in the 50s if you include the male end links. But again, male end links don't bother me at all because I have a 7.5-inch wrist. I think if you have a lot smaller wrist than me, it might be an issue. Polish along the edge of the bezel. A little bit of that polish is on the top of the knurling of the bezel. So that is the only polish that you're getting on this watch, except for the buttons in the clasp, which I'll show you right now. There are two buttons right here that you can push. And it is milled, by the way. I do want to show that. You do get a milled buckle on this, which is interesting because I've actually reviewed some other watches that were a little bit more expensive that were in super titanium that didn't get a milled buckle. So I'm not sure why they're putting a milled buckle on this watch and not some others, but there you go. So this is milled and it is signed Citizen. You can see there's some polish on those buttons. You have 3 positions of micro adjust. Well, actually, I think it's 2 usable positions of micro adjust on this clasp. Really good looking clasp, and I like that it is milled. Price on this watch is $550. If you go on the Citizen website, they're always offering something, a gift or percentage off. Definitely check out the link in my description. I will put a link to both of the watches that we looked at today, the Super Titanium Diver, the ProMaster Automatic, and this Brycen as well. Definitely check them out if you are interested. I'll throw links down in the description below. $550, I think, is a really good price for a watch with Super Titanium with that extra hard coating and all of that good stuff. Let's check out the Lume. Well, there you go, Lume. Very good on this watch. Nicely applied to the indices, very liberally applied to the hands. No lume on the second hand. I would have loved if they loomed the counterbalance on the second hand. That would have been cool because that's the white portion. That would have been really great. However, they didn't, unfortunately. But all in all, I think the lume is good on this watch. I think it looks really good. The hands are bright and the indices are decently applied. This is a great everyday dive style watch. A watch that competes with the likes of Seiko 5. However, I think beats Seiko 5 in every single way, especially considering that you're getting a full titanium watch with an extra hard coating, and you're getting an eco drive movement, 100 meters of water resistance, and a sapphire crystal. Seiko don't offer anything like this, and if they did, it would be in the $1,000 range, maybe even more. I always bring up Seiko when I'm talking about Citizen because I think they're in competition. I think that's why Citizen have been upgrading all of their watches basically beating Seiko at their own game. In my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's what they're doing, and that's why they're coming out with watches like this. Tell me what you think down in the comments below. Are they trying to beat Seiko? What do you think? I want to hear what you guys have to say. Please tell me down in the comments below. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. Super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. I'll put a link to this watch, and like I said, my ProMaster Dive Automatic down in the description below. If you're interested in either, just click one of those links and check out the watches. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.